I'm Gianna Baldino.
And I'm Emily Baker.
And this is Booked Up Babes.
Woo!
Okay. So today, on our very first real episode, we are going to be talking about none other than Fourth Wing.
Woo woo!
And Emily actually created a little cocktail for us.
I sure did. It is mezcal with ginger beer and cranberry juice and a pinch of lime to taste. And it is also known, as my husband and I lovingly called it, dragon's blood.
Yes!
It's smoky and it's pink. So
and smoky for those dragons and a pinkish red because blood. There's lots of it.
There's lots of it.
So cheers.
Cheers. All right.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very good.
It's super good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Em is gonna do out the specs for it and we'll post it on our socials. So you guys can make it too if you want.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yes.
The mezcal is fantastic.
It's so good. If you don't like mezcal, I'm sorry. Try again.
Maybe do tequila. If you don't like tequila, we don't have any options for you.
Yeah.
It's like those TikTok videos where people like, someone's like making a bean soup and it's like, what if I don't like beans? What do I use? And it's like, well, then don't make the soup, I guess.
Somebody literally just showed me a whole Reddit thread of people substituting the wrong ingredient and being like, this recipe sucks. I said mayo for whipped cream. I was like, there are real people out there like this.
Take a look in the mirror, God. The problem is you.
Oh man.
Okay, anyways.
Fourth Wing.
So Fourth Wing, we are recording this like a week out from when Iron Flame comes out.
Yeah.
So this is just like a nice little refresher, not only for us, but like for you guys if you want to just kind of like, I guess, listen to us talk about it. So first, we have two book clubs and first question has always been like, how did you feel about the book? So how did you feel about the book, Em?
Yeah, I liked it. I see the potential for the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my favorite book I've ever read? No, but could it potentially be one of my favorite series ever read? Yes. But I also never expect the first fantasy book to be the best book in a series.
Yeah, but I will say, like, for
It's
it being the first book in a
It's
series,
incredible.
it is very good.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't really have to wait for anything.
No.
She really just is like, things are gonna get real bad real fast.
Yeah.
So I
Very
think
good in that way.
it was really good in that
Mhm.
way. I think Rebecca is also, like, a really good storyteller.
Incredible.
So this book, overall, like, story-wise, was done really well.
Mm-hmm.
Some fantasy novels that you really have to wait to get hooked, and I just didn't feel that way.
No, the minute I you in like 20 pages, you're already like, okay, I have to know what happens next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, like from the second we're introduced to these characters, it's like, well, things are just happening. Like there's really no long-winded like preamble. It's just like, here you go. It's like Violet. Guess what? You're getting thrown into this, and that's like 4 to 5 pages in. It's like, well, she's in it.
Well, and also, like, she world builds by Violet going over facts about the world as she's nervous, which was genius.
And Emily actually brought this up, like, in our last book club, about how, I know it's I didn't even notice that. Like, I knew that it was happening, but I didn't really, like, think about, like, the grander scheme of it all, where it's like, oh, no, I'm learning things about this world because she's going back to her scribed roots and like just making this thing a part of her personality. It was so organic.
It was really organic because every other fantasy novel, God love every fantasy novel out there, but like they take time to like break down the world for you and tell you, but like she skipped over that and then within the storytelling built the world.
Yeah.
Which was very a little flipped, but it made it more entertaining.
It did. Yeah. And I think in terms of world building too, like, so we're also at the moment, Emily's reading Crescent City for the first time.
Oh, and that's world building galore!
And I'm doing a reread, and I remember what it was like to read that book for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, world building overload.
So much.
I'm
going back and rereading pages.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I feel like this is important.
It's like so much like mental heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I feel like Fourth Wing really, I didn't feel that way.
No.
The world building was done like in an easy manner where I was like, okay, this makes sense, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And were there some moments where I was like, wait, I think I've heard of this before, like, and I had to like flip back a little bit, but overall, like,
Yeah.
it was a really easy world to jump into.
Yes. Well, and it's not that it wasn't more or less complicated than any other book out there, but it was like how she did it didn't make you feel like bombarded by it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's also one of the reasons why people like loved this book so much.
Yes.
Because it was so, fantasy can be incredibly daunting.
They're never small.
No, it can be incredibly daunting.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of the reason why people are like, oh, it's not for me. But I think one of the reasons why this book took off so quickly is because it was like done in a way that made it easy for really anybody who's interested in anything to pick up this book and be like, oh, this is a great read. We have girls in our book club who have never read a fantasy book in their life, and they loved this.
They were obsessed.
They were so obsessed that they cannot wait for
Yeah.
the next book.
And then
to
they
come
were
out.
super pissed when they found out it was 5.
Yes. They were like, oh my god, wait, I have to dedicate myself to 5 books.
I got a good story for this. Little side note, but like when the first Lord of the Rings movie came out, like my grandpa, my dad, all my family, they all like super big Lord of the Rings fans. So we all go to see the first movie in movie theaters, like big family event over Christmas. And the movie ends, and it's clearly ending with there's another movie to come. And my uncle, who he's not a reader, he goes, "There's 2 more of these fucking things." And I will never forget. I was like 11, and he was just like, "Yeah, it's a trilogy." And that's how I felt when we broke into those girls that there were 5 books in the series.
Yes. Yes. Because like, you know, normal books that they read are like these like romance books. It's like, oh, that's a one and done. Or maybe it's like a interconnected standalone.
Yeah.
But like something that, because they were like, the book ended and they were like, there's more. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world of fantasy. You're probably finishing on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
And it's probably going to leave you wanting much more.
And the next book is probably 600 pages.
Yep, and it'll probably be 2 years from now. Though, thank you, Rebecca,
Yes.
for not making us wait
Oh my God.
2 years. You fantastic woman.
Thank God for that. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, obviously we thoroughly liked the book.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I think, so for anybody who, this is going to contain spoilers, of course.
Yes.
But I think for me, when I like to describe this book to anyone, I say it's kind of like Divergent, but with dragons. That's usually like the easiest way for me to describe it to people.
Yeah.
So if you were into the Hunger Games, and you were into Divergent, like if those were things that you were into when you were younger, you're going to love this book. This book is definitely for you.
And if you haven't read it yet, we're going to be spoiling it from here on out, so go read it.
Go read it, come back to this episode, and then once you're done reading Iron Flame, come back to that episode that we will have in a few weeks. But yes, this is going to be, from here on out, we got spoilers. We're going to have spoilers, we're going to have opinions, and we are going to have theories. Theories on theories on theories. So this is your final warning.
Yes. Get out now.
Yes.
So next, do we have any favorite moments or quotes?
I have a favorite quote. So I need to look it up really quick. It's actually not from like anybody, no one says it. It's, you know, those like fantastic little things at the beginning of each chapter.
Those are the best.
I
actually really liked those. That was another great way.
Those are and they're also so important.
Yeah, every single one.
So that's why when we were going over the stuff with our book club, some of the girls were like, oh, I didn't even really pay that much attention to those. And something that you don't realize is that those little blurbs at the beginning are pretty important to the chapter in which you're about to read.
Yeah.
Or even just the book as a whole. So kind of like skimming over those, it's important to read those.
Yeah.
For sure. And
well, because also, I mean, even the way the book opens, which thank you, like Book Talk and Instagram, opens with Jesinia writing the book,
Yes.
which you can easily skip over. But
Which
like,
most people I feel do skip over.
yeah, so like that's gonna be huge. I have a feeling. I don't know.
Especially the way that it ends.
Oh yeah.
Like the way that her is like basically it's like we commend them to Malik and it's like what?
You do what with them? Because
So
it's not
what's
like
that
you do when
mean?
people die.
Exactly.
Like terrify me much.
Thank you much, my seed. Thank you very much.
Oh my god, I was trying to find that one. I don't think it's the quote you're looking for. About the history. Is that the one you're looking for?
That's what I'm looking for, yes.
That's the good one. But there's like a bunch of good ones around it too. Well, I'm never gonna find it.
We can also
We can pause here.
exactly.
Pretend like this isn't happening. Oh, I found it. It's 4:48.
448. It's 448? Is that far?
Yeah. Well, because that's it. Definitely, it only takes one desperate generation to change history, and you can erase it. But that's part of it.
That's
right?
not the one I'm talking about.
Oh.
Mine is
Mine goes along with yours then.
yes.
Then I'll say mine after yours.
Mine is the one about the archives.
I'm gonna pause this recording.
Okay. Yeah.
That one will be this. Hello.
Where is it?
Because mine piggybacks on yours. Mine's on 448. Because I didn't really have a lot of quotes for this book.
I didn't either. But mine was like, where is it?
Although I did like when he like was like, "Who are you calling to?" That part was pretty funny. That part got me. I'll save that for the pod. Saving it for the pod.
Yes.
The deity one. I actually should probably find that one. What was that? What chapter?
Oh, I found it.
Alright, I'll let you go. Okay, we'll go back to recording. Alright. Alright, so you found the quote.
I did. And so we were just talking about how important like those little blurbs at the beginning of each chapters are.
Yeah.
So this one was super important, but it did really hit me in a way that I was like, this is so true. It's the beginning of chapter 18 at the very top, and it says, "There is nothing more sacred than the art archives. Even temples can be rebuilt, but books cannot be rewritten." And it's like, I read that and I was like, the truth in that single statement is so true. And I do actually think that that's going to be really important.
Oh, I think she's gonna lean heavy into the whole like history's written by the victors energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though Violet is no longer a part of like the scribe quadrant, like the archives, especially with everything that's going on with her dad, like the things that he did, and Little Miss just said he left her. Like I think the archives are going to be super important at some point in this book when it comes to overcoming something or like needing the knowledge to overcome something. So I love that quote just because I think it's very true. But then I really thought about it and I'm like, why do I feel like the archives are going to be so important?
I think that's why she's such an important character.
Yeah.
Like because of her dual knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, that's why I think she's gonna be like the key. Because name another dragon rider who was training to be a scribe.
Exactly.
Like, there aren't any.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just what makes her such like a great, well-rounded character.
Oh yeah.
So good. So
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, and then also like to piggyback on that, I really like the part later on in the book where it's like it only takes one desperate generation to change history, even erase it, and then a little later down underneath that it says one generation should change the text, one generation chooses to teach that text, the next grows, and the lie becomes history.
Yes.
Like, because like that happens in the real world. That's not just in fantasy, you know, like where people rewrite things and like so it's like. But I think it's gonna be a huge storyline.
Yeah. So just a little side note and quick shout out. So I have been listening to a podcast called The Queen's Podcast. And it's all about like women in history. And there's so many things that history gets wrong or that have been like rewritten.
Yep.
Where I'm just like, oh, I thought that was real, but it's like no, that never actually happened. Someone just like came up with that on their own. Like really funny thing Marie Antoinette, like, literally never said, "I'm not gonna make cake."
Yeah.
Those words never came out of her, but that's what she's known for.
Isn't that so sad?
It's so crazy.
Like, the dickest, like, thing to say, and, like, you didn't even say it, but, like, that's the most historical thing you're, like, known for.
Right? And that's why, like, her reputation is just, like, this certain way. And I'm like, so that quote, like, it's so true.
So true.
For everything.
Yeah.
For the real world and for fantasy world.
For our fantasy worlds, too. Yeah, and, like, I listened to Revisionist History with Malcolm Gladwell, and that's, like, all he talks about.
Yeah.
Is, like, all the ways we rewrite history and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, we think we, like, figured it out. But, like, that's why I loved, like, about this book was, like, how that's a big theme throughout it.
Yes.
Because it's so applicable to, like, our world we're in now.
Mm-hmm.
And just the world in general. Like, all history is written by victors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, the quote from Wicked, shout out to musicals. If you know, you know.
Yes. So, like, I guess I'm piggyback off of you. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to talk about Violet.
I love her as a main character.
I remember, like, I read this book back when it came out in, like, May or April, whichever one. It was May. And I remember finishing the book and being like, Violet has to be one of my favorite female main characters.
She's really good.
She just, that girl is like, whatever gets thrown at her, she does not back down.
Never.
And, you know, in some of the fantasy novels that we read, like, you know, it takes a lot for our female main character to, like, come into her strength and her power. And it's like, Violet from the very beginning was like, she obviously didn't want to be a writer.
Yeah.
But as soon as she was in there and Dane.
Fucking Dane.
We'll come back to that
We'll talk
guy.
about Dane.
And Dane kept trying to get her out. And she was just like, and she's breaking bones every day. She's really not
It
excelling.
wasn't like she was doing a good job.
No, like, she really was not excelling in the beginning. But she never once backed down. She just let that make her stronger.
Yeah.
And she was like, I am not going to be a coward. I'm going to see this through. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be amazing. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me that I can't do that.
Yeah.
So, like, right off the bat, I'm like, yes.
Well, and also she literally gets really creative.
Yes.
Like with the knives at the gauntlet and then also with the poison.
Exactly.
Like she finds ways where she's like, I don't have to succeed at this like everyone else does.
Yes.
But I'm going to succeed at it.
Yeah. Like she becomes not only physically stronger, but she's, from the get-go, she's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
And on top of it, she's like very kind and caring, but she takes no shit. Like she is a very fantastically well-written woman. Like this is a woman who can be multiple things at once, and it was so well done.
Yeah.
Like I, at least, well, no, I guess I can think of like maybe one other character that probably fits the mold, but she was like a breath of fresh air.
She really was, and I think we talked about this. Like I compared her to Bella in Twilight.
Yes.
And how toast, like butter on toast Bella is as a character, and how everyone around Bella is interesting. And like, in my opinion, no offense to Miss Myers, but I think like she wrote Bella a little bland so that every girl could put themselves in Bella's shoes and be Bella.
Yes.
Because if she doesn't really have a personality, you're gonna put your personality on her. So that's why personally, when I saw the first movie at the midnight showing at 18 and was like, wait a second, I'm not Kristen Stewart. I hate this. It clicked for me. I was like, oh, I read those books and I was Bella.
Yeah.
And I was choosing between Edward and Jacob. Whereas in this book, I'm not Violet.
No.
Don't get me wrong, Xaden can get it, and I'm into Xaden. But I'm not imagining myself as her in any way. And so to me, I really appreciated that because I think sometimes women get, like, especially by female authors, and no offense, but sometimes they can write them a little more bland so that you do put yourself into their shoes a little more and connect to them in a way and make it about you.
You can envision yourself as this person.
Yeah.
You can relate to this person.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
that's
Violet,
nice.
I'm not joining the writer's quadrant. That sounds terrifying. Like me with the
I'm
stripes.
looking at Violet and I'm like, wow, I wish I could be like you.
I know. I'm like,
You're a
wow.
badass.
You're cool.
Like, fantastic. Do I see myself in Violet? No.
I'll be a healer. Thank you very much. They go on meditation retreats or some shit.
And I will be in the scribe quadrant.
Yeah.
I will read books and write books
I'm
and
a-
shelf books
I'm
for
a
my
Hufflepuff.
life.
I ain't saving the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was like just a wonderful breath of fresh air. There were
Mhm.
some moments, and there were some moments where I was like, "You're kind of down on my nerves."
But
Just a little
that's a
bit.
good character, though, right?
But also, it just made her real.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you're not this perfect. There's, that's another thing that can be kind of frustrating. It's like the female main character, she's perfect,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Gross.
where are my humans? Like, where are my
Yeah.
real people with like flaws
Yeah.
and like characteristics? Like, and I think that sometimes fantasy falls into that pit where it's, like, it's so like fantastical. But
Yeah.
I think I can speak for some people at least when I say that it is nice to read about a character who is a real person.
Yeah, I like a good flaw.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't while you're reading it, you're frustrated. A good example going to Harry Potter is Professor Umbridge. You just want to punch her in the face the entire time you're reading about her. And in the movies, the actor was amazing. But it's a good character
I know.
because you want to punch her in the face.
Exactly.
And sometimes you should want to punch the main character and just be like, oh my god, get it together, you're being stupid. That's real.
Well, the other day, sorry, going on a tangent. The other day we were talking about Snape.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Snape was a great character.
Great character.
Did I think he was a good person? No. But was he a good character?
Always, man.
Absolutely.
He's a great character.
Love him.
Yeah.
But I also hate him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I want to feel
Mhm.
complex emotions about complex characters.
Yeah.
That's one of the best parts about reading.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like the fluffy, unrealistic stuff. Sometimes that's great. It's nice to just get out of my own head and get out of the real world. But it was reading this book. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed Violet's character.
Well, I can enjoy a character that has flaws and then has character growth.
Mm-hmm.
This is really random, but remember when we were talking about that book, Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter? I couldn't stand that main girl, and I can't, it is ingrained in my brain. That book ruined my life. I don't know why I hate that book so much.
Sorry, Lynn.
Sorry, Lynn, I like your other books. But, I think it was because, to me, she had no character growth. She was a flawed character through and through, but then I don't feel like she grew from it.
Yeah,
It
agreed.
pissed me off.
Yes.
And so, whereas Violet, even when she's being dumb or, whatever she's doing, she's growing from it. I'm like, okay, I can get behind you, girl, being dumb sometimes.
Mhm.
It's when characters don't grow. It's when I'm like, okay, well, no, I'm checking out.
Yeah. Yep.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, see ya. All right. Well, okay, characters that we liked and disliked. Well, Dane's
Okay.
an obvious one.
I would do anything to never have to read Dane's name ever again.
He is, the minute he came on the screen, I wasn't even tempted by his romantic chemistry with her because I was like, no, he's already controlling her.
Exactly. From the get-go, he was, from the
I was
second he was there, he just belittled her.
Belittled her.
Had no faith in her. And I
Jump.
was like, who are you?
Yeah. I was not into it.
Oh, sir?
I was not even
No.
remotely tempted by him. And he's just I did not catch the face touches until social media pointed that out. But
Same.
I was like, oh yeah, he did touch her face.
He touched her face. Frequently.
Yeah.
And now that we know about that, I'm like, you took advantage of this person that you quote unquote love and care about so many times.
Yeah.
And you still want to pretend like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, he's got that black and white self-righteous energy that I
very
can't
black
stand.
and white thinking.
Yeah.
It's either it's good or bad, it's right or wrong. There's no gray
There are
area.
rules and there aren't and there's rule breakers and he's it's very much that.
And those characters are dangerous.
They're the Darth Vaders.
Yes. Yep.
And I feel like going on all the different connections. I kind of think he's gonna have a Darth Vader arc.
Okay, and see, for me, what I talked about, by the way, we are going to make references to other media throughout our
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
So please just prepare yourself for those.
I watch a lot of TV and movies. I don't know how I fit it all in, but I do it.
But I do think that he will have some form of a redemption arc.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen in the next book. It'll probably happen in like maybe the 4th or 5th book, and then I think he's going to die during this redemption arc. That's my personal opinion. I mean,
A little bit Darth Vader energy. He's evil up until his death.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
sorry for the spoiler of Star Wars.
You haven't watched Star Wars. Sorry.
He's Luke's father, in case you're wondering.
Don't hit us. But I can't remember his name right now, but if you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, you know the one that was supposed to marry Elizabeth. Thought he was doing the right thing the whole time. Literally sacrificed himself to do the right thing and save her life, and dies in the process.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is gonna be Dane.
Yes,
he's
gonna realize too late
that he's on the wrong side of this.
Yeah.
And that he fucked up, and he's going to get himself killed trying to do the right thing. But I think that for at least a good 3 or 4 books, he's going to be the worst person.
Oh, he's gonna want us he's gonna be like a Professor Umbridge. Where every time he steps on the scene, you're just like, oh, you suck.
Yes. And I am
no redeeming qualities.
So excited for Iron Flame because like we have so many ideas of what we think is gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
And like anything could happen in this next book. Dane could like redeem himself like that. I don't think that's gonna happen, but there's hope for him still.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, I've never read any of her other books, and I know she only does romance as her first fantasy. But from what I hear, she's a wild card a bit with her writing. Am I wrong there?
Yes.
I've heard that she's kind of like, she'll kill someone off. I mean, as she did. Like,
yeah. So
R.I.P. Liam.
R.I.P. Liam, we love you so much.
Love you.
You are gone far too soon. I actually don't even know how I got through that part of the book.
When I was reading it,
I was like, this cannot be happening.
I was in such shock. I was just like, oh, she's doing that. Oh, okay, this is gonna be like Game of Thrones and like.
I was like, this is really him. Like
of
all the people.
Oh my god.
Why did it have to be Liam?
Like what? Why is it always the nicest one that gets killed in the first book?
I don't know.
It's like,
and like, he was such a good friend to Violet.
And he was a good warrior too.
He was a great warrior. He was just a good person.
No.
Oh
god. Like when she did that, I was like, you couldn't even wait until midway through the second book to kill him?
No. If there's gonna be 5 books,
she's gonna kill more people.
She's gotta kill people off.
She's giving me like
no one is.
She's giving me Game of Thrones energy. Like there's gonna be like a red wedding or some shit.
I don't know.
I hope not. That was the most extreme killing of a book series ever. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
We don't think that's gonna happen.
We're
not putting that into the universe.
Not gonna put that out there. R.I.P. Robb Stark. But like
and literally every other person.
Every other person. No.
So Liam, and like there's so many other like theories around everything. I mean, the theory around the fact that Xaden is like the first love interest, which technically he isn't.
He's not.
Dane is first.
Dane was first.
Xaden is second. So
yes.
I think that he's safe.
I think he's safe too.
Well,
I think they'll have issues.
I do think that it is very interesting, though, that she very specifically said that we will not get a Xaden POV until he's done keeping secrets.
Yeah, which means like probably not until like the 3rd or 4th book.
Yeah, because I'm just like, what more secrets?
Because I feel like we've discovered them all, but we haven't.
And he had like, I can't remember if it like was said like word for word, but he essentially was like, there is nothing else. Like, you know everything now. But then Rebecca came out and said that, and I was like,
girl, what?
I'm like, Xaden, honey.
What other secrets?
Because you have, I'm rooting for you.
I know.
You need to
Because
be better.
He is one of my favorites.
I really enjoy Xaden's character.
I really like his character.
And I think one of the reasons that I love him so much is his absolute unwavering support for Violet, like at
Yeah.
every single turn. Like never once did he underestimate her, never once did he tell her she couldn't do something.
He always stood beside her, not in front of her.
Yes,
kind of thing.
always
Yeah.
stood beside her, not in front of her, and like
Mhm.
even though he was still playing the part of like the villain, it was like he always was like in this partnership with her,
Yeah.
like at every single second.
Mhm.
No matter what, he was like, no, I'm here. You can handle this, but I'm here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved that about him.
Yeah.
Loved that about him.
Well, and he's just like so like supportive of her growing too. Like he was always like, "No, you got this. Here's a hint, and I know you'll figure it out."
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew from the jump that she was smart, that she was capable, that she could figure it out. Like he constantly was like, without her realizing it, and to a point, she kind of bugged me because I was like, "Do you?" She said, "Oh, he wants to kill me." I'm like, doesn't want to kill you.
That's one of the. So that's what I'm talking about when I said she kind of irritated me sometimes. I'm like, how he has literally protected you quite a few times at this point.
Quite a few times.
Where in the fact that you're still thinking that he wants to kill you, I'm a little confused.
I was like, girl, no. Like that drove me a little crazy at times. I was like, he does not hate you. Like she's like, oh, he hates me. I'm like, no, people who hate each other don't like that one kid. What is it, Jack or what?
Oh my gosh, Jack.
Ugh,
Terrible.
he hates you. That is somebody who hates you.
Yes.
Somebody who hates you isn't gonna be like, you'll think of an idea. Like
Yeah.
you know, like no, he doesn't hate you.
And on top of it, it's like the man could kill you at any point.
And he gave you a cute little nickname, Violence.
I will say that I did think that was a little strange when even in like tense moments he's calling her
He's
Violence.
like, Violence.
And I'm like, maybe this moment is a moment to use her real name. I don't know though.
I don't know where I heard it, but like apparently like Rebecca came out and was like she chose the nickname Violence and then chose the name Violet
Oh,
based
so
off
it
the
was,
nickname.
oh.
But she's like, I want her nickname to be Violence, and so then she chose Violence.
I do like that little fact.
Yeah,
I do like that.
I remember.
I
that,
will
but,
still
like,
stand by the fact that I thought there were quite a few moments where things were tense. Especially even
call
like,
her by her damn
even
name.
like when they were like getting after it, getting intimate, and he's like Violence, and I'm like, maybe her real name might be good to use here, but you know, whatever gets you going. And she was super receptive to it, so I'm like, I'm a good girl. If you like
nicknames in the
that,
bedroom.
if that's what you like, that's what you like.
Bitchos.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, the whole deity line that he says in the bedroom.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I actually laughed out loud at that one. I was like, although who's that witty mid-coitus? Zayden.
If anyone's going to be that witty, mid-coitus, it is Zayden.
Because I was like, who's thinking? I'm not thinking like that.
But the man oozes like sexual energy. Like he just oozes
so
it.
true. And he's just so witty.
Yeah.
He's-
Like even like
yeah.
from day to day, like he's quick on his feet. He's always got something to say.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all that he is that way, like in the bedroom.
No, that he's
Not-
like cracking jokes.
Yes, like not surprising at all. I mean, it was definitely very humbling that he was definitely flustered at points, and I'm like, yes, Violet, like yes, because this man doesn't get flustered, and you are flustering.
When she makes him choke.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god. I was like, alright girl, like you make that man choke because
Mhm.
he wasn't expecting that at all. He always has the upper hand a little bit.
Exactly. I like
Alright.
their relationship was so equal. It was so great.
Yeah.
It was equal. They each gave each other, and they like back and forth and back and forth.
It was super organic.
It was very organic. I did
Mhm.
really like it because
Yeah.
of the organicness of it. It didn't feel like boom, it's happening. It was like
Yeah.
no, like they had like very important core moments together.
Yes.
Like those 2 times that she caught him like meeting with the other rebels.
Yes.
And you know, like he chose to trust her in those moments, and
Yeah.
she chose to be like, I'm gonna trust you, you're gonna trust me.
Yeah.
And like the moment where he was on the mat with her,
Oh, I
and she
love
was so
this.
scared that he was gonna do something, and
That was
he
such
was
a
like,
good
no,
part.
I'm literally teaching you how to be a better fighter. Because
Yeah.
you can't keep, like,
Can't keep poisoning
you
people.
can't keep going. Your mind is great, but in this very specific moment, like, you need to become better physically.
Yeah.
So here you go, I'm gonna teach you.
Yeah.
And like lots of those and then also the shielding when she needed to shield her mind after she bonded with Taryn.
That seems so amazing.
It was so good.
So good.
So good. And like that was a huge pivotal moment for them as like two people where in that moment I was like, you guys just have this undeniable connection and it's very real.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also like this very real and honest level of admiration between the two of
Tons
them.
of respect between the two of them.
Yes.
In a way that you're like, that doesn't always exist.
Mm-hmm.
And like when she does learn how to shield, he's just so blown away. He was like, that took me weeks.
Exactly.
Like, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he sees her qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just, the weaknesses that she can't help, he helps her facilitate ways to get past them.
Yeah.
Like with the car seat.
The car seat, oh my god.
Sorry, that's not what it's called. The
The
saddle.
harness. The harness or whatever. Yes.
He gets her a car seat. A dragon car seat.
Well, and the knives too, like the special made knives just for her. And it's like these moments, like such great moments between the two of them. That I was like, I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
I am definitely rooting for you too. And I think when everything came out at the end, like, sorry guys, if you haven't been spoiled yet, this is all spoil you real good.
Foil.
But at the end, where everything comes out, and she realizes that he never actually lied to her. He just didn't tell her.
He omitted facts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people are on Violet's side with that. And like there are people like myself, and I also think you as well.
Me. Yeah, I'm on Zayden's side.
We're like, he can't tell, like, you.
It's putting people's lives at risk.
Up until like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
you thought this man was going to kill you. So now that you guys have decided that you're going to try to be in a relationship, you think that he has to tell you this major
Big secret.
that could get him and multiple other people killed, knowing fully well
that Dane's touching your face like this.
Yeah, that you have a best friend who can literally read your mind if he touches you.
Yeah. And he keeps touching you, and you're like, that's just how he touches me. Like, get out of here.
Yes, and I think I can understand
The betrayal of like,
especially because it happens so fast.
it does. And like, I give her a breath to get over it, but let's not new moon this and take up half the book of her being mad about it.
Which I don't think that's gonna happen based off of little tidbits that we've been getting from Rebecca. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think they'll get over it.
But I definitely at first was like, I completely understand that you are upset, especially because you don't even really get to like decompress. You have to now go into a battle where you're probably gonna die. But at the same time, it's like, really think about it, because not only 10 seconds later, they find out that they've been sent to their death because Dane touched Violet's face.
Like, literally, the whole reason why he's been holding back the truth from you is happening.
Exactly.
Like,
but you're still angry at him. He's like, I can't trust you with this.
Yeah.
When you are still trusting this person.
Until you can't trust Dane, I can't trust you.
Exactly.
And I totally to me, I'm like, I get it, you can feel betrayed for a minute, but like, then take a step back and look at the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that happens, because like, otherwise I'm gonna really not be a Violet's fan in the next book. I'm just gonna be like, oh my god. I don't trust him. I'm just gonna get like,
yes.
Like, I understand, like, you slept with him, you told him you love him, like, you're very in deep with this guy and you're finding this out, but at the same time, this isn't fully his story to tell either, because this affects an entire group of people that you're going to put in danger.
Exactly.
Like, this is so much bigger than your relationship with this guy.
Exactly. And
I hope she sees
and I feel like for Violet, who is so like intelligent, I think that she will come to that. But she's also emotional.
Yeah.
So I think like emotions took like the front seat.
Which they do when you're upset.
Exactly. And then when you don't have time to process them, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think
That's how I fight with my husband.
Yeah.
We're like,
and then eventually we're like,
I'm sorry.
wait, let's like reflect.
So I thought about what I said and how I felt, and that was a little irrational.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think we'll get there in the second book. Let's talk theories. So we have very, very funny because we agree on at least one of them.
We agree on some and we disagree on
Definitely disagree on a few others. So let's actually start off with Violet's mom. Because we do not agree.
I think she's a Snape.
Okay, yes, you do think that. And I think that she's just a no good bitch.
You think she's Bellatrix Lestrange?
I do.
If we're going Harry Potter here.
Yes, if we're gonna keep this vein, I think this
for this right now. Yeah, you think she's like straight evil, no good.
I do not trust her. I don't trust her at all. I think that she is a bad person. I honestly think that she like killed her husband.
Okay, so I don't think that theory, but I love that theory. Like, I would love for it to get that dark where like mommy killed daddy kind of vibe. I like that concept. That sounds really fucked up.
I know it does, but it makes it interesting.
It makes it more interesting, so if that's true, I'm not gonna be like, oh wow. I'll be like, oh cool. But like I also think it would be an interesting storyline and there would be a lot to explain if she's been supporting Violet this whole time.
So what makes you think that she's been supporting Violet this whole time?
Okay, so when she goes on the parapet, storms relax Violet.
Okay.
And there's a storm that hits the minute she does it. And I think her mom did it because she knows it relaxes her. Some people think that she did it to fuck her up. But I think her mom also sent her to the Writers' Quadrant because she thought if she went to the Scribes' Quadrant, that she would learn too much and go down the path of her dad. And so she thought she was protecting her by sending her to the Writers.
But my question is, what is wrong with the path of her dad?
Because her dad got killed. I think he got killed. I think he got murdered.
Okay.
For how much he knew.
And I think that this is where we diverge. Because I think that she murdered him.
And I think somebody else murdered him. Don't know who yet. But I think he got murdered for how much knowledge he had.
Okay. But if you don't think that her mom's behind anything, why do you think? So Dane knew fully well that Violet was going with the group.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
And
was the mom around for that though?
But his dad is like her right-hand man.
Yeah, but
they call the shots.
But like, you know, like with double agents, they have to like go with the flow sometimes. And hope
to the point where you're killing your daughter. I don't know. I am also like pulling at strings when I'm saying that she was involved somehow with like sending, like knowing that they were going there. I just think that like Dane is always in contact with like his dad and Violet's mom, and like there's always like some sort of connection between them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I am pulling at a very, very thin string when I say that I think that she knew about that, but I really don't trust her.
No, and that's fair. I just think, you know, sometimes the double agent character has to be extra cold to cover up the fact, like, she's not being super friendly to her daughter. She's not super excited about her daughters. And also, like, Violet's, like, lightning wielding, like, skill is probably scaring the shit out of her because she's like, oh, everyone's gonna want her on their side.
Yeah.
Like, she's not excited about that. Like, she's not excited that, like, I think she didn't want her daughter, I don't think she wanted her to die and not survive the right, but I also didn't think I don't think she wanted her to have 2 dragons. I don't think she wanted her to be she was like, I just wanted you to survive this shit. I didn't want you to be the most special person here.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the vibe I'm getting. I could be, like, I mean, here's the thing, we're reading between the lines on all this, because she's given us nothing
These are just theories.
But I see that being a really big possibility because she is kind of so in the background and quiet in a way, but just like stoically angry all the time. And like her mom also had one of those daggers in her desk.
Yes, that's correct.
And her mom was the one that was like, yo, I don't think we should be killing these parents in front of their children. it was like
if that is the bar that we're setting.
Oh, I know. This is a desperately low bar.
Once again, welcome to fantasy novels, where the bar is so low that we are being like, she must be a good person. She didn't want children killed in front of their parents.
It's where morally gray survives.
Yes.
Lots of murder, but for the right reasons.
For the right reasons. For the greater good.
For the greater good. People killing other people, but for the greater good of the storyline.
But because of a purpose.
Yeah.
It's for the plot.
Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know. I like both concepts, to be honest. I'm leaning more towards her being like double agent, but I also could see her just being straight fucking evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
if you can hear that, my cat's being fed right now.
We will definitely have to say, because again, like you and I there's something about her I just don't trust. I feel as though her treatment with Violet and her reaction to just her forcefulness into putting Violet into a very situation in which it's like Violet is fragile. She really isn't, but like in the beginning of the book, you are told that this is a fragile person.
Yeah.
And her mom is like, sorry, too bad, so sad. You're going into this very specific area where you are now going to have to spend the rest of your life. And it might be a very short life because you will probably get killed like rather quickly. And I'm just like, that's just like, you're terrible. And then when she gets the 2 dragons and someone tries to say one of their names or something like that, and she's like, no, don't say anything until she says something. And Violet immediately is like, because she doesn't believe that I have these 2 dragons. And I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of see it as though, I will say
she was protecting Violet.
I will say in that moment that I am a little split, because I'm like, yes, I kind of agree with you, Violet, but also I am like, maybe she said don't say anything because she wanted
you to have both dragons.
Violet to be the one to be like, because there's no way that she could be questioned because Violet was the one that was saying it.
Exactly.
So, in that very specific moment, I am feeling like, maybe.
Well, and she also says to Violet, you're the best of your father and I.
I don't know. And when Emily and I had this discussion a few days ago, she was swaying me. And this is the exact reason why, because you are making great points.
Yeah.
But I just have a very gut feeling about her that she is just not a good person. So
I can't wait for it. Like, we gotta put money on this.
Very, very morally gray about her.
We're gonna buy. One of us is gonna buy the other one a cocktail when we find out the coincidence.
So you guys will know who won in 6 years.
And then on that day, I will get that at Martini.
Yes. So we will see. But yeah, Emily brought up these exact points at our Newport Book Club a few days ago, and I was just like, you're making sense. I think I might be forming opinions just based off of the fact that I think that she's a terrible mother. So that could
she's not a good mom.
No, that is not something that needs to be up for debate. She is not a good mother.
Whether she's doing it for the right reasons or not.
Yes.
Parents in general think they're doing things for the right reasons sometimes, and it's not always the right choice.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say she's a good mom, but she could be doing it for the reason. She could be doing it for a reason that she thinks is the right reason.
Yes. So we will see.
Maybe
we'll get some sort of answers in the next book. We'll see.
I'm pulling all my theories from other people diving way deeper than me, and me being like, that sounds accurate.
Yeah. I believe it.
I think that sounds
so. But actually, kind of in the same vein of family, something that you and I definitely, and I don't feel swayed on this at all, but you feel pretty strongly about this, and I feel pretty strongly about this. Emily thinks that Mira,
I don't like her,
is going to be against Brennan.
I'll probably lose this one. I'm not gonna lie, I might lose this one.
And the way that Mira cares about Violet.
She does care a lot about Violet.
And I think that Mira is gonna find out that Brennan's alive and just will not be able to even think about going against her siblings. I think finding out that Brennan is alive for her is going to make her question a lot, and knowing that Brennan is on the opposite side. Like they are on opposite sides of history right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the Civil War energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just can't foresee Mira being like, wow, Brennan's alive.
Mm-hmm.
He's choosing to be on this opposite side. And then there's Violet, who's also choosing to be with him. So I'm going to stay over here.
You know what? Here we go. Here, let's combine our theories, because this might be a thing. Like, what if it's the 3 siblings against the mom?
That's what I think it's going to be.
Okay.
I really do think that it's going to be the 3 of them.
I mean, I like disagree with you for fun, but I see that
It's all about friendly competition.
too. Yeah.
The debate. It's all about the debate.
The debate that's fun.
Yeah. But so
I could see that being a thing. Like the 3 siblings against mom.
mm-hmm.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. I could also see it getting mixed up and being a little more like unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think I'm like, I'm gonna go with the really fun, unpredictable option where the mom's on the good side, but like playing double agent, and like Mira's hanging out like she's been entrenched in the rules and all that.
Yeah. I think, you know, we'll just have to
Well, I mean, like, Rebecca's gonna throw curveballs at
Oh,
us. I
gosh.
don't. She's not a predictable author by any means.
No. And, I mean, that's the best.
I mean, I don't want her to be. I read predictable books for palate cleansers. I don't do it. Like,
Exactly.
I like my fantasy to
That's the
surprise
best
me.
part about fantasy novels.
Yeah.
Is that you're 9 times out of 10, you are on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you do not know what's going to
Well,
happen.
and like, you know, with different. I'm gonna spoil. It's easier to spoil Harry Potter than it is to spoil other fantasy
Yes,
novels.
if you have not read Harry Potter,
Get
like,
out
if
of
you
here.
don't know what's happened in Harry Potter, we don't know what to do for you.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to only reference that because when I reference other books, I feel like I'm gonna spoil them. So.
Yeah, no, Harry Potter, roll with it.
Yeah, right? But like the wand lore, right, is a huge part by the 7th book that you are not picking up on through all 6 other books.
Yes.
Like, and so I think what I love about fantasy is normally like the twist ending or what you should have been paying attention to from book 1, you're not picking up on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just curious where she's gonna head with that. Like, what are we not picking up on that she's gonna be like, yo, fuck
She's
you
gonna
guys,
like
I found
bring it.
it.
She's gonna bring it like all the way back.
All the way back, and then you're gonna be like, Justinia wrote this. This is why. Like,
I think the fact that there is going to be five books,
5 books.
that leaves so much possibility for so many things.
Yeah.
I think that she is gonna do some. So for those who know Sarah J. Maas, you guys.
See, I was trying not to spoil her too much, but let's just fucking.
This is very general.
Okay, cool.
Those of you who know Sarah J. Maas know that she is the absolute queen at little tidbits that she can come back to books later, and you're like, holy shit. Like,
That matters?
It blows you away. And I think that because there's 5 books in this series,
It's gonna
like,
happen.
there's no way that she can't call back certain things.
No.
And like, I think that so much of what happened in Fourth Wing is going to be really important in the next few books.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it set the foundation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Rebecca is she's proved herself as a storyteller.
Yes.
So I think that she's definitely going to pull some of that, you know, like, interconnected stuff. And we're going to be like, wait, that happened in book 1.
Yeah.
And it's book 5.
Well, and what's so fun about fantasy that I love is that it's a world that doesn't exist. So that they can build a history, they can build a language, they can build all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and then do whatever the fuck they want with it, and be like, that's what happened, and you're like, damn, that connected to this, and like, because it's not a world that you live in, they can surprise you a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, definitely.
Right? Yeah.
And I think
Do you want to talk about Zaynab being intensive?
we're talking about this. This will definitely, I think this is our last point of the evening.
I hate this one, but go.
And we were, at least I was saving this shit for last. So, if you have been on social media for even a second, and you've like looked into all of the like the theories and stuff like that, the number one theory out there is that Xaden is intrinsic. If you don't know what that word means, it means like he can read minds.
Yeah.
Not the way that Dane can, like freely like read minds. Like he doesn't need to touch you or anything like that.
Yeah, he's like Edward Cullen.
Yes. And that is in this book punishable by death. Like you cannot have that power.
Which respect, it's a pretty big power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the biggest example of this, and I am ready to go. So at the end, when Xaden and Violet are speaking after Violet finds out that Xaden has been keeping things from her, Xaden says, I know what you're thinking, Xaden says in a deceptively soft voice of his. There's a flicker of fear in those onyx depths. You have no idea what I'm thinking. Fucking traitor. So those are said in regular writing, no italics.
Which normally happens when they speak mind to mind.
So when you're speaking mind to mind throughout the rest of the book, when they're speaking mind to mind, it is in italics. So none of that was in italics. So remember, she says, fucking traitor. We're gonna fast forward to Xaden's POV at the end of the book. And he's sitting there waiting for Violet to wake up. And he's like, my eyelids scratch like sandpaper each time I blink, but I'm fighting sleep with every bone in my body. Sleep is where I hear her heartbreaking scream, hear her cry that Liam died, hear her call me a fucking traitor over and over. She never says those words out loud. Never says those words out loud.
And I don't dispute that that's probably, he probably is, but I hate it. I hate it.
And I love it because I think I just love Xaden so much that like anything that makes him cooler.
I do really love it.
I'm like, that would be so awesome. But you and I are definitely like, she is never gonna trust him again.
It's gonna ruin their whole relationship because he will be no better, if not worse than Dane. Because Dane literally told her how he read minds, and then she was an idiot and forgot.
Wait, this is the secret that Xaden has to stop keeping for us to get his POV.
Oh my god, you're right. Damn it!
What else would it be?
Don't want it to be that.
Oh my god, that just came to me.
You're probably right.
I think a premonition.
It's probably that.
I'm sitting here like, what else could Xaden possibly be hiding? It's this.
It's that he can read your mind. But what I just like, I feel like okay, like obviously this book wouldn't be entertaining if they were just happy-go-lucky in a relationship the whole way through, fighting the rebellion together. That wouldn't be a very entertaining book.
No, of course not.
So you have to have issues in their relationship. I hate this issue though.
I know.
And it's probably going to be it because so many people like it. You look at theories on social media, this is the theory.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense because she did suddenly not italicize something. And it's like, ugh, but I hate it. Because to me, that makes him worse than Dane. Because Dane told her, I can read people's memories if I touch their temple. And then he touches the temple a fuck ton of times and she just blindly trusts him. But he warned her. Xaden, if he can read her mind without doing shit,
I know.
Ugh, that's gonna be rough.
She's never gonna trust him ever.
We're gonna get a new Moon book. That's what I call books where people just walk around moping. I'm like, I'm mad at Edward because he left me in the woods. Like, I fucking hated that book so much.
So yeah, that's
I really get that.
We don't get a new Moon book, but I'm
sorry, Stephanie Myers, I'm
I'm
shitting on your craft. You're very talent star.
But yeah, that just hit me. That has to be
the other secret.
The last secret.
But so here's the thing. Do you think we're waiting till a third book to find that out?
I'm not sure. I think huge potential for that to be like a big thing to happen in the second book towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much Rebecca is going to do like another like repetition of, oh, here's Xaden's secret, I'm ending a book.
Yeah, that's
I'm not sure. I
don't think
she's gonna reveal it right away. So maybe the third book.
I think it's the third book reveal, right?
I think it's going to be a very large plot point.
Yeah, if that is real, if everyone's predicted it and figured it out, and I'm sure if it isn't figured out in Iron Flame, everyone's gonna be nitpicking that.
Yes.
So if that is, I would say third book would, because if you put it off longer, then it gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Because if he's hiding from her, that he's literally reading her mind without her permission, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
we're gonna have to wait and see.
I'm very excited.
I'm really, it was funny because when I first finished the book, I reached out to you and I was like, but it was because I hadn't like absorbed it yet.
Yeah.
And then I like went to I was like, well, I have to and then I went through like Book Hangover Central and was like looking for like ways to like look up things and stuff, and I was like, okay, no, I actually did like this book more than I just I read it so quickly I didn't realize how much I liked it.
Yeah.
So it took me a few days to like come back from it and be like, oh no, I enjoyed this book.
Yeah, I think you know my first initial thoughts. I mean, I read this book back in May.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then, out of the two of us, I read a lot of books.
You read triple what I read.
Yeah. So since I read this book, I've read other books that I've been these have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that this is the greatest book I've ever read in my life. But now that we have had so much time with it recently with our book clubs,
it's
and
I'm realizing how good it actually
the
is.
hype of the next book coming out and me rereading it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for what comes next.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to read Iron Flame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to once again just be on the edge of my seat.
Yep.
This is a fantastic fantasy debut.
Yeah.
For someone who's never written fantasy before,
incredible fantasy debut.
What a great job Rebecca has done.
And if you really think about it, normally fantasy books don't take off this much on their first book.
Exactly.
So to me, I'm you better do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because and speaking of which, came out today, there will be an Amazon series.
Yes. Oh yes. Big news.
Big news.
It's been greenlit for an Amazon series.
So and she posted that it was greenlit in December.
I know.
Before the book even came out.
Yes.
So damn, girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. So I'm really I'm stoked because I think this would make great TV.
It would. I mean, we will definitely have to wait and see what streaming service it will be on.
Amazon.
Oh, we just
yeah, it's Amazon.
Okay, Amazon has the budget. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Hulu with Sarah J. Maas
with
and
avatars, and I'm please just make it an animated show.
Oh, I don't trust you as much as the other ones.
Please just make it an animated show. Then we won't be disappointed.
You haven't won me over yet. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, as a debut fantasy novel, it's incredible.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so something I think would be fun for us to do is we can rate the book 1 to 5 stars.
Okay, easy.
And then we can rate it. Well, hold on, I have my rating system here. So we're gonna do a romance meter 1 to 5.
Okay.
We're gonna do a sexy meter 1 to 5.
Fantastic.
And then an overall rating 1 to 5.
Okay.
So, starting with romance, what do you think on the romance spectrum? 1 to 5. 1 being just a murder mystery where no one's in love.
I think that. I really hope nobody's in love. I think romance meter probably a 4.
I was gonna give a 3.5.
I would give it about a 4. I think.
Yeah.
I think because the romance was so organic.
It was really organic.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see it grow.
Yes.
But I think I would give it a 4 simply because of the truly organicness of it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed them
really
becoming partners.
I really liked it.
In life. So,
yeah.
So I'd say 4.
Okay, sexy. 1 to 5.
I'd say a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
A 3 or 3.5. Because the sex scenes were good.
They were good.
Did I want just a teeny bit more? Yes. Maybe not a full blown sex scene, but just a little stuff.
Yeah, I didn't need full smut. But
no, yeah. And I would say 3.5.
Yeah.
For me personally, I would say 3.5.
I was like, yeah, because it was good, but it wasn't like,
yeah.
whoa.
But
It was no Silver Flames.
the first no.
No.
The first time that they got together, that was
Yeah, I love
that.
that.
Perfect wording
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Explosive.
That was pretty close. It
That
makes it almost a
was-
4. That's like almost a 4.
That's,
'Cause
I'm
they,
gonna
like,
say a 3.9.
yeah, cause it's like a 4. 'Cause
Yeah.
they break furniture. They break furniture.
It was like very passionate.
It was super passionate. Like, they were, like, waiting. And what I liked about, we didn't talk about this, but what I liked about the characters in this book was that they were very, like, sexually fluid.
Yes, great representation.
Great representation. But also, like, she's not a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I want to fuck. Like, it's like I love that she wasn't innocent. Because a lot of times with these romances,
Yes.
they're like, I'm a virgin. And he's a 500-year-old, some kind of ethereal thing who's fucked. And it's just weird. And it always, I'm like, and he's like, oh, I'll teach you.
No, she was like, I have sexual prowess.
Yeah. And
I'm
I was
like,
okay.
she's like, stop being so fucking honorable and fuck me. And it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So I
Get after it, girl.
I'll give her a 4 because
Okay.
I'll give it, yeah. Okay. Overall rating.
Okay, so with a romance rating of 4, I'm gonna stick with my like 3.9. I would give it like a 4 point.
Oh, I love this point system. We're just starting tonight.
I know. I would give it like a 4.4.
All right, I was hanging around. I'll like play with you here, and I'll be the bad judge now. I'll be 4.3.
Okay.
No, because I really did love this book.
I think it's a really good.
I
book.
think
my
has
point system is just like I think I've given like maybe 3 or 4 books in the many that I've read like a 5-star.
Girl, I'm so nice on Goodreads.
And I'm not.
I'm not. I'm like, you did it. 5 stars. Don't follow my Goodreads. It's too nice.
I am not that nice.
Although every now and then I've gotten, there was a few books where I was like 2 stars. That sucked. But like, personal non-enjoyment.
I'm
But
really sorry to all the Goodreads authors that have given like a 1 star.
oh, I've never done that.
I have to be honest.
Yeah, I know that's so
Hey,
good.
I won't
Good for you.
I won't review it, but I will give the 1 star.
Okay.
I won't like leave my thoughts because I'm like the 1 star is
That is my
that's
thoughts.
enough.
Yeah, that
I don't need to hurt you anymore.
I've hurt you.
You hurt me, I hurt you now.
You made me read that, so thank you.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. All right. So I think that's it for our first episode.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
We hope you guys love this episode.
And we'll be back with Iron Flame.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.